Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This space is about helping us to understand our physical lives, and especially when we are going through challenges in our lives and our spiritual journey. And when things happen and it throws us off balance, like our health, our mental health. So I'm here to help you focus on the bigger me, the highest self. You know, it's that part of you that holds your intuition. It knows why you're here. And that part of you will help you to understand the reason why things can get misaligned and that can throw us off balance. It will help you to get to the root. And here's the thing, when we start living, being consciously aware of that part, we can hear the higher self, then that's where the inner joy and the peace and the happiness lay. So what we're talking about today is how to manage stress and anxiety. So how are you doing? How are you feeling at the moment? It seems that most of us have either suffered or are suffering in silence with anxiety and stress. Now, if I were to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being totally relaxed, you're just feeling fine. And then when we get to 10, you are at high levels of stress. Where would you be placed on that scale? If you find yourself near a 7, an 8 or 9 or even 10, you are not alone. It's really, really challenging and difficult when we are going through something where we know we just don't feel right and our mood plummets and we start to feel really quite anxious. And the thing is with stress and anxiety, it's a reaction to what we're feeling. Now we know that stress can be even that we feel threatened. It's like our body's defences to alert us when danger, and it gives us that response. What that does for you and I, we go into fight or flight. Or you might be one of those people that go into freeze. Now, I'm one of those that I tend to freeze, where you can't do anything. How do you react to anxiety and stress? And this can be triggered just by a thought. Or you might just feel under pressure, or you might be worrying about something, and then it starts that whole chain reaction where we start feeling overwhelmed, very uncertain, and then we really then start feeling out of control. Many things put us into that fight or flight or freeze mode. Now, it might be what I sort of term as something within or something outside of us. Now, what I mean by that, you might be feeling overwhelmed and worried because of internally how we feel. Things might be piling up. We might be sort of really overwhelmed at work, or something's going on personally within us that's triggering and impacting us emotionally, mentally, and even physically. Then we start feeling quite unwell. Or it could be that something has happened, that's happened in our personal lives, like losing a loved one. All of a sudden something's happened within the dynamic of finances, or externally things have happened which has thrown us off financially. And then what that does, it then makes us feel quite uneasy and unsettled. It's because these situations have sort of brought it to us, and of course that's our response to it. How many can identify with that? So we can start to get a sense that, how or where our triggers are lying. The longer we stay in stress or anxiety, the more we are unable to relax. And this has a build-up effect. This sort of seeps in to other areas of our lives. Then we can't sleep, and that then turns into insomnia, and then we kind of feel under the weather, and then it goes on undetected for longer. Then we get colds after colds, headaches, unexplained stomach issues, and then things just keep piling up, and they can feel quite overwhelming. And we almost get to a point that we don't remember, or we don't even know what put us into that fight or flight. We're dealing with a set of issues and circumstances, kind of puts us into survival mode, where we're just not present, but we're just trying to survive whatever emotion, whatever thought, whatever is happening around us. And we seem to be sort of like paddling just to keep afloat. So what can you do to manage the stress and anxiety that you are going through at the moment? Now, we know there is a combination of many things that can help us to reduce feeling this way. And that is something that when we're in our low periods, we need to look at lifestyle. We need to look at exercise or walking or getting out in nature. And then, of course, we need to sort of, put good stuff into our bodies and drink lots of water. And this is things, it's almost like a tick list where we go through and try to manage those areas because they do have an impact on us. I'm here to help you focus on the bigger me. So that is the part of you that knows why you're here. It's got the wisdom and the knowledge. Now, you might know that as the higher self, the soul, the subconscious. We know it through many titles, but essentially it's the same thing. It's that internal part of you that navigates you. So when we are talking about managing stress and anxiety, it's really important to look at a part of you. It is that very part of you and how you can access it. And the most reliable way to access that part is through meditation. And a lot of people think, well, how can meditation help you when you're in a really difficult sort of time and you're feeling anxious? Well, you see, meditation has been practiced for thousands of years and it has its benefits. And here's the reason why. When we go into a meditation, it really is putting us into a frequency. Now, when we are stressed, we know that we're anxious, we physically feel uncomfortable, and when we measure those brain waves, we are all over the place. We are in that fight, flight. We are not in a good way. And it affects our breathing, hence we can get, panic attacks. I mean, when you're in those situations, they are really horrible and they're scary. So then we try to get through them by breathing. Now, this is where meditation puts us into a calmer state. And why meditation is so good to be practiced is because we start learning to put ourselves into that state. Now, if we were to look at how the mind or those brain waves are set out, we are in beta. Beta is what most of us are in our everyday lives. When we're talking at work, we're just living. And then we have something which is called alpha. When you close your eyes, or when you start to meditate, you go into alpha. This is when we shut everything off around us, and then we become aware and start becoming more focused. Now, just before you go to sleep at night, your brain frequency goes into theta. Again, this can be achieved through meditation. So you are awake in theta, it's not a sleeping. And of course, then we've got delta. This is when we go to sleep. But those brain frequency and those waves, we are going in and out of beta, alpha, and theta. And of course, at night, we go to sleep, we go into delta. So we do this unconsciously. The thing is with meditation, what we are doing is consciously putting in place something which our body already recognizes. It knows it. So when we start to put some level of relaxation and meditation in place, our bodies respond to it. And this is how we can start something really important. And there it is again, connecting with that bigger me, that higher self. Because in those frequency states is how you will connect to that part of you. So why is connecting to that part of you key to managing stress and anxiety? You are able to view things from a different perspective. It changes your vibration so that part of you, the higher self, will whisper what you need to know. And this comes through as intuition. That thought, that feeling, that picture. You might hear it. You might just know it. It will be your truth. And then what happens? We get a breakthrough. We begin to feel peace. We begin to feel calmness. And we become present. Not living in the past. Not worrying about the future. Being present is beautiful. It's powerful. And you have that ability to be present and just view things and to be in that vibration and to see what's going on for you from that perspective. And that's really powerful. Now, when we meditate or we connect to Reiki source energy, we begin to know how that feels. You become aware on a conscious level. And this is where you come into your own. Because you change the way you react. And this is done through a deeper part of you. So meditation is powerful. Now, meditation does not have to be for a full hour. If you've got the time to spend for an hour, and sometimes we can carve that time out, and other times it just isn't there. But 10 or 15 minutes is something that can work wonders. So this is where I would really recommend that you try and find a meditation that suits you. I've put together a hypnosis for beginners, which is anxiety and overthinking, and also hypnosis meditation, a guided meditation to connect with your spirit guides. Now, a guided meditation is really good if you've got a busy mind. So it just means that you're not left there thinking, that you can just be guided to get to that place of feeling relaxed, and to get to that place of just feeling present. So, like with anything, to begin meditation, make sure you're comfortable. Choose a position that works best for you. And then just doing 10 or 15 minutes on a break, lunchtime, in a quiet place, park bench, in a garden. You put that in place. Even if you have to put a timer on, or maybe you've only got that set moment of time. But what this does, this really starts that process, starts you to really helping to start putting in place a way that you can manage your anxiety and your stress. And I would always recommend that you set an intention to yourself. Ask that part to just be quiet, because this time is just for you, so that you are able to get into that space and that place where you can view everything from a different perspective. So there are many ways that we can manage stress and anxiety, and that might include talking therapy. It might mean we have to look at our diet. It might mean that we have to put things in place so that we can put some self-care in, and that is something that we can really benefit from. But I would really encourage you to look at that part of you, and that's the energetic part. It's the part of us that is connected far beyond our present and physical life. It's that part of you that we want to connect to. It's the higher self, the bigger you. It knows why you're here and why you're in a set of circumstances. That part of you will help you to reduce stress, to reduce anxiety. That part of you, your higher self, loves you. It has your back, and it wants you to be able to come into your own, so that you change the way that you react to all these triggers, so that we are able to get to the root of why we are out of balance, why we feel misaligned, why our emotional and mental body is not in a place which is making us feel comfortable, happy, and at peace. Now you have the ability to connect to that part of you, so that you, through intuition, are able to look at the root. And this is something that I've done and continue to do in my own personal life. And I help others do that. I do that through the pathway that's been left for us through Reiki, because that's a very powerful way which eliminates any hit and miss, and we're able to meditate very, very effectively and start our self-healing. Start those parts of our lives and those areas where we need to shine a light and look at it, so that we can bring back peace, have clarity and awareness in our lives so that we can move forward. So I would invite you to see for yourself and experience meditation, or it might mean connecting to Source, whichever that feels comfortable for you. So I've put below this audio some links for you to have a look at. And I hope that whatever that you're going through, that you are able to manage and to able to sort of find that inner joy and that peace. Really connect to that part that can help you discover the reason why that we are even in that place and why we're feeling that way. And this is the beautiful thing about the consciousness and awareness of our planet. We are there. You and I and everyone, we have that part of us, that higher self, the soul, the bigger me, where it can help us to navigate and to understand what is happening in our physical lives, our bodies, our minds, our spiritual journey, so that we can experience that true joy and happiness. So please do hit the subscribe button. Please look out for some other various areas which we are going to discuss and look at. And in the meantime, I hope you find that peace so that you are able to manage those reactions of stress and anxiety, so that you're able to come into your own. So please do take a look at the links below, and I look forward to speaking with you very, very soon.